People always seem to be surprised and horrified when they witness a tragedy or injustice. They are always in a state of shock and they go emotionally insane, like, oh my god, how the hell could this ever happen to me or to my family or to my partner? Oh my god, I can't believe my eyes, this is so horrific. How can humans be this cruel? How can there exist such evil humans? How can there be so much injustice? Like they seem to be so oblivious to the fact that there exists this risk, this enormous potential for tragedies and injustice to take place. Injustice takes place every minute of the day on some fucked up place on this planet. So don't be surprised. Stop crying and bitching about how unjustified it all is. Because it's your own goddamn fault. If you're going to create life, you are going to create injustice. It's that simple. I mean, it's so simple to understand this. If you are going to create a civilization with billions and billions of human beings, there is an absolute certainty that you will create thousands of murderers, thousands of rapists, thousands of terrorists, thousands of mentally disturbed people who will commit injustice. So before you intend to create a civilization in the first place, you already know that you are inevitably going to create a whole bunch of tragedies. Tragedies for which you are responsible for, because you are allowing it to happen, because you think it's a wonderful idea to create billions of people. So for all of you idiots out there who think it's okay to have billions of people walking the earth, I'm calling you out as a mass murderer, as a mass rapist, as a mass torturer, as a mass abuser, because people like you have literally created all the tragedies and injustice that have ever happened throughout history of humanity. All of them. Billions and billions of beings who were harmed, abused, and died a horrible death. Thanks to humanity. All of this happened because of people like you. Because of this compulsive need to reproduce for the sake of serving a belief. You are responsible for all the shit that is going on. You create a lot of shit you create a lot of potential shit in the first place, and when the potentiality becomes actuality, you somehow are surprised and shocked, and you feel sorry and you empathize with the victims of all these tragedies. There is only one crucial fact that you always forget. Oh yeah, it's your own fault. By creating so many people, you increased the potential for tragedies and injustice, and you increased the actualities. By creating so many people, you are deliberately creating actual tragedies and injustice. It's not a matter of justifying it or not, you are inevitably going to create it. So if you think it's unjustified for injustice to take place, but you think it's justified to create a huge civilization, then you are being extremely irrational, ignorant, and immoral. Blind faith, that's the problem. You keep praying and hoping that everything is going to be alright, that nobody will get horribly harmed. But it happens anyway on a daily basis. Just go read the newspapers and go watch the news. There are plenty of examples every single day. So don't be surprised when something extremely horrific happens. This is a part of all the risks we have been taking by breeding uncontrollably. This is not my morality, I'm using your morality against you. You know, most people recognize harm and suffering, and they empathize with victims, and they all believe it's unjustified. And they prove this by expressing their emotions. You know, they cry, they mourn, they scream, they are furious, they go out into the streets, going on a rampage, shouting how unjustified it all is. They want the perpetrators to die and rot away in jail. I mean, we can tell that all these tragedies have a true negative impact on us, and we clearly want to avoid them in the future. And I accept this kind of moral behavior. This is the morally correct response to injustice. But it's their own fault. They have done this to themselves because they have given birth to all injustice. And they are pretending as if all of it happened by surprise, as if they are not responsible for it, as if they didn't knew that breeding would cause inevitable tragedies. It really doesn't require much intelligence to understand that all problems, that all the problems and all the tragedies and all injustice are going to be created when we create life. And that therefore we create our own problems and tragedies. So we are responsible for it. We just keep complaining and complaining about how unjustified the government is, how unjustified suffering is, how unjustified corporations are, how unjustified the richest people in the world are, how unjustified the media is, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, we are feeding the potential for injustice to take place by bringing more people, aka potential victims for injustice, into this world. We just keep squeezing more people into the world, and then we just complain how it's all the fault of the political leaders who are unable to provide a justified life for the newborns. I mean, sure, they can do a lot more to take care of people, but the number one culprit here for injustice is the one who creates the goddamn potential victim of injustice, which are the goddamn parents who fucked the goddamn victim into existence. It's that simple. If you don't create the victim, then there is no problem. Then there is no injustice. I mean, it's really ironic that we continue to breed and then get angry at the world and, for not taking care of our kids, for not providing them a justified life. That somehow it's all their fault. It's just so simple and stupid. Just have kids and then point fingers at the world and blame them if your kids are suffering. Such an easy excuse. No, the parents are always the biggest culprits because it's their responsibility for bringing a potential victim into existence. It's that simple. End of the video.